5 years thereafter, walang nag-follow up. Wala na yung 200 billion ng mga kababayan natin Pilipino. Due for the state, due for every Filipino. Yun po yung pinapasok ninyo. Yun yung pipiliin ninyo.
Pero sir,
O, kaya kailangan talaga bantayan natin maigi ang eleksyon na ito. At hindi po ito fake news ha. Ito po kahit ano pong paliwanag ng abogado niya, yung spokesperson niya, hindi po ito fake news. Desisyon po ito ng Korte Suprema. Final. Kaya nga po naniningil na yung BIR o naniningil na po ang Department of Finance, no? So bagay lang, napapanahon, total ang gusto natin pagkakaisa, gusto natin unity, o gusto natin lahat ng salita. Hindi po namin maisasaing yan. Ang maisasaing namin, yung 200 billion, pwedeng pagamit sa mga nahihirapan nating kababayan. So yun lang naman ang punto ko doon.
But Mayor, what does that say with the character of a potential president that they are paying their obligations to the government?
And that's the time for you to think twice. Dapat yan na po ang isipin nyo mabuti. Anong uri ng karakter ang isang taong pwedeng mamuno sa atin na siya mismo ay hindi sumusunod sa alituntunin ng gobyernong kanyang pamumunuan. Oh. Ang masakit dito, of all the tax cases, tax evasion cases, tax evasion, no, is different, no, from this type of taxes. Ito ano lang to eh. Walang kapaliwanagan talaga. Ako, ang paniwala ko po walang sapat na walang maipaliliwanag na excuses, no? Kasi minana mo lang, hindi mo pinaghirapan. Babawasan mo lang ng kaunti. Oh. So sa akin, kung ang buwis mo 200 billion, di ba? Siguro ilang bilyon-bilyon pa yung matitira. Ibang tao wala na makain. Wala na kanina nga, di ba, pinag-uusapan. 4-day work na nga lang para lang makasurvive
Iniisip ng mga taong bayan dahil ang iniisip nila trabaho.
Ay, tama po si dating Senador Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Ang iniisip ng tao ngayon, trabaho. Ngayon, kung masisingil natin sa kanya, yung 203 billion, marami tayong mabibigay na trabaho. Tama siya doon. At dapat siya na magsimula. Kung yung talagang iniisip niya ay malasakit sa kapwa, malasakit sa Pilipino. Kung ibibigay niya yung 203 billion, nang bukal sa kanyang kalooban na wala na silang ginagamit na magagaling na abogado o para palusutan ng batas, para linlangin ang tao. Kung ako po sa kanya, gusto niya magbigay ng trabaho, wala po siyang gagawin na mahirap. Bayaran lang po yung 203 billion.
Ang korupsyon po ay hindi titigil sa ating bansa. Not even during our lifetime. Unless we change ourselves, unless we change our values. Ang korupsyon po sa ngayon ay hindi mapaglalabanan ng batas lamang. All our laws on corruption are post factum, after the fact. Kailangan po natin ng isang haligi na magbabago po ng ating ugali. We have to introduce, as I'd always been saying, a subject from kindergarten until college on God-centered values formation. Kung magtuturo lang po tayo ng good manners and right conduct na hindi po nakasentro sa Panginoon, wala akong kwenta yon. Whether whatever is your religion, whether you're a Protestant, a Catholic, a Muslim, or what, kung lahat po tayo naniniwala sa Diyos, lahat tayo takot sa Diyos. Pero sa ngayon pong nangyayari ngayon, wala na tayong respeto sa Diyos, wala tayong respeto sa sarili natin. So not during our lifetime will be able to solve corruption. Ang corruption po ngayon sa Pilipinas ay nagiging endemic. Ang corruption po ngayon sa Pilipinas ay nagiging parang fashion, becomes a fad. Because money becomes power. And if you have power, talagang kailangan sikat ka. So, if you're asking whether nag-increase ito sa Bureau of Immigration, not only the Bureau of Immigration, tumataas po ang incidence ng corruption sa bawat ahensya ng gobyerno at magugulat po kayo. na this incident is not only in the Bureau of Customs and the Bureau of Immigration or in other departments. Mayroong mga departamento ng gobyerno hindi nyo akalain ay corrupt, akala nyo natutulog, pero mas corrupt pala yun sa ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na akala nyo ay corrupt. So sa mga nangyayari po ngayon, nababasa natin sa dyaryo, it only shows that what we need actually right now to fight corruption, to stop these incidents of corruption, is to introduce a subject through a law, a good manners and right conduct subject that is God-centered. You just teach good manners and right conduct, forgetting about religion, then wala hong kwenta yon. Others would philosophize na there is separation between church and state. Yes, there is. But religion, this has nothing to do, or the separation of church and state has nothing to do in values formation. You want to have a good person, let that separation of church and state argument be set aside. Makikita naman po natin yon sa ating mga Katoliko, nagsisimba tayo mga naka-short pants. Mga nakasando yung iba. Hindi ho pag-iinsulto ko yan, pero totoo po yan because we have lost our respect for God. We have lost our respect for ourselves. We do not fear hell anymore. Wala hong impyerno sa iba sa atin. So gumagawa po tayo ng krimen sangayon po sa ating kagustuhan. So if we're talking about corruption, if we're talking about incidents of corruption, if it is increasing, Your Honors. Thank you very much. We cannot solve corruption, as I've said earlier, through the passage of laws. All I beg Congress to pass is a law making it mandatory, good manners and right conduct, but a God-centered good manners and right conduct subject. Take out that God-centered good manners and right conduct aspect, you will be a failure. I'll give you an example. Teacher ako sa isang barangay. Tuturo ako ng good manners and right conduct. Pero pagdadating ng hapon, mga alas 5, alas 6, nandun ako sa kalsada lasing, naghahamon ng away. Will my pupils, my students believe me on what I am teaching about good manners and right conduct? No. But let good manners and right conduct be God-centered. Let our young, the youth, ipaano natin uli yung pagmamahal sa Diyos, love of God, fear of God, which is absent nowadays. Hindi ko naman sinasabing religyoso akong tao. No, I am not. I am 10 times a sinner than a criminal in serving sentence in Muntinlupa. I am probably the number 1 adulterer in this room. But what I am saying is, itemper naman natin to yung takot sa Diyos. Na bago natin gawin yon, matakot tayo sa Diyos. Diba? Why do you have this riding in tandem? It's all because about money. It's not just about corruption, but it's because we don't fear God anymore. We don't fear that there is hell. We don't even believe that there is hell. We don't respect ourselves. We don't respect the Lord. Whatever you conceive your God to be, you follow your God. Whether you call him Allah, Jehovah, or Lord, just follow the dictates. Because no religion teaches immoral things. No religion tells us that mabuti ang pumatay. Walang religion nagsasabi mabuti ang magnakaw. Wala eh. So let us have a good manners and right conduct subject that is God-centered. That's all I ask from Congress to do. A 1 hour a week to be taught by the ministers of the various religious organizations. The Iglesia ni Cristo has promised me that they will send their ministers to these various public schools to teach good manners and right conduct with God as the center of that. Okay sana yon. And I hope other religions will follow with volunteer. Kahit lang sa Katoliko yung sinasabi ng catechism, let's start with that. Let us start teaching the young to pray the rosary sa Catholics. Let us start teaching the young to read the Bible as what the the sponsor of this hearing this morning. Wala, but I think we start it now, and for the next 20 or 30 years, we may not be in this earth anymore, but the fruits will come out after about 20, 30 years, and expect that to happen. But we have to start it now, Your Honor. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.